Good evening, welcome back to Dumfries Ice Bowl for draw 2 of the 2017 Champions Curling Tour. My name's David Owen, joining me for the first commentary stint, I think, unless you've been elsewhere doing this. David McMeekin.
Thanks, David.
Any particular reason you decided to do this? Or?
Not really, no. I just thought
nobody asked you to play.
No one wanted me to play, so why not come along?
So the game we're covering just now, you can obviously see on screen Cameron Bryce against the Jungen Rink. Fairly cagey start. First stones drifting into the house. So I think we're going to see a fairly rapid end for the first one, I suspect. Cameron Bryce playing the yellow stones. Jungen blue.
Hopefully see a good game here, David. Obviously Cameron Bryce is last year's Scottish junior champion, isn't he?
Yep.
He's already won of the World Curling Tours this year, I think, in Tallinn, is he?
I think he did, I think he did, you're right.
Slight change to the lineup as well this year, isn't it, with Ross White playing third stones. Ross, of course, from Dumfries as well, so a bit of local knowledge coming into the team for them.
Yeah, exactly, and I think they're probably one of the top 3 teams, if you like, one of the 3 favourites to win it, so I think we'll see how they get on. So 6 games on the ice just now, but slightly complicated because one of the games is the previous session, which started late, and the last game of this session, as advertised, will go on after that game. So they're going to be started about 9 o'clock tonight, 9:30ish, I would think, unless somebody decides they're not up for a long night and loses a big end somewhere. So we'll try and keep you up to date with that one.
So just remind me, David, maybe we went through this in the first tie, but there's no time clocks here. Is it 8 ends we're playing, or time, or just a straight 8 ends?
It's straight 8 ends, which could take a wee while. So yeah, straight 8 ends, no draws, so an extra end if required. And then I'm not quite sure if it's what happens if that end's blanked. I don't think we play an extra. I think it's it's a draw shot after that. All the teams are playing 2 draw shots after they finish the game as well. So the group standings are done on wins, head to head, and then the draw shot challenge for ranking. So, and you can go out on a draw shot challenge, which is always a harsh way to do it, but everybody knows the rules before they start. So otherwise we could be here for a week on tie breaks and everything else.
Yeah, that's the problem with the weekend competition, isn't it? Time's always tight, so we can't afford to have tie breaks. These teams need to travel from their work on Thursday night to play and to get home on Sunday night at a sensible time.
Yeah, exactly. Still very much a part-time sport. But, some of these teams are pretty well funded, to be fair.
Yeah, isn't it? It's good to see some of these top teams come to Dumfries to play this competition. It's a credit, obviously, to the work that goes in here at the ice rink. We've got Team Witt, who really plays in the world circuit now. Cameron Bryce as well plays a fair bit, and Tom Brewster. So we've got 3 are really the top teams in Scotland competing here this weekend, and that is a credit to the way the competition's been run.
Yeah, the top 4 are probably only Kyle Smith's Olympic team missing, but I think they would have had to turn down an all expenses paid trip to Japan to be here, which yeah, fair enough. So no, that's the aim with this competition, really, is just to keep pushing on and attract more teams. This time last year it was it 2 groups of 10, male and female, if I remember rightly, or 2 12s, and 18 men's teams this year. So the aim is to try and get to 24 at least next year, possibly even more, depending on what we can fit in. And then we can play about with all kinds of complications like triple knockouts and everything else, just to completely break every system going. So
I know it's only draw 2 and you've not had a chance to see the teams, but who would be your pick of the teams to win this competition this weekend, David?
Just to be a bit dull about it, I think Brewster looked very good in his first game, didn't miss very much. Obviously we're watching Cameron Bryce, but I think Bruce Moe probably has to be the favourite.
Yeah.
It was a great win at the Grand Slam event in Canada a few weeks back. And Grant Hardy obviously won the World Mixed as well, so yeah, they're having a fair season. So
yeah, they're definitely the on-form Scottish team this year, aren't they? Obviously winning 2 of the World Curling Tours back-to-back at the start, and then, like you say, they won the National Boost competition, which does qualify them for the Pinty's Grand Slam of curling, so they're undoubtedly the hot team in Scotland, and now they'll be the ones really to beat come the week of the Scottish at the end of the season, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so. It's, we do sometimes think we miss the... I could appreciate, don't for one second think it's a bad choice to sign Kyle Smith. I think it's a really good choice to the Olympics. You do wonder if we'd have had an Olympic qualifying event, how good that could have potentially been this season. I think it would have been something to watch.
Yeah, obviously you've seen Canada had theirs last week with Kevin Coo coming out on top, and it was quite an event for the sport in that country. Kevin Coo is actually one of the teams that Bruce Mote defeated, wasn't it, in his way to win the national competition. I think they beat Mike McHugh and Kevin Coo and Brad Jacobs on the bounce, so that was 3 of probably the best teams in the world that this Bruce Mote team beat that week.
Yes, Mike McHugh was in the final as well, wasn't he? So that's
semi-final, I think.
Was it semi?
Yeah, it was Kerry beating in the final.
Ah, okay.
Still a good achievement.
Just feathers the guard there. I'll have to admit, I thought we were just going for a blank end in this end, but
yeah, I haven't really been paying attention, but I assume there's been a slight miss, and now the Swiss team here have got the choice whether they want to be aggressive and try and guard the shot in the house. So it's quite dangerous against a team of Bryce's calibre. What did they call the other freeze in the pocket, I think?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, just into the 4 foot kind of half checked, something like that. No,
it's a good call. They need to obviously make the angles right so they don't leave the double on the 2 plays.
Yeah, Bryce, I have to admit we've marked Bryce's last stone, but maybe just go and check that, because it would have been a coin toss as to who did get last stone here, so we'll just try and keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Cameron does have last stone. I can see the scoreboard. I actually called that wrong. They played the hit in the wrong. Played it good. Cameron can get the hit here and check in just behind that blue guard, it will put a bit of pressure on the Swiss team's last shot.
It's almost a case of shut the end down at that point. Interesting to see how he's obviously not playing it, just looking for a wee flop off this as opposed to...
Yeah, I think that's a lesson that a lot of the younger teams can learn. You don't always have to play the big weight on these shots. It's more about getting a good shooter. It's not about the weight, more about the accuracy. Give the sweeper something to do with the stone on the way up the ice.
I think that's the key, isn't it? They've got the two sweepers that can execute that.
Sweepers look standing off this, look relatively happy. They're sweeping for the curl now. He's executed that perfectly.
Yeah, that's a pretty good result. See, no hanging about though. Straight down. There's not a lot of options for the Swiss boys there, to be fair, is there? It's get on top of that yellow.
He's got to really get further in the corner here, or he is really facing losing a two. And it's really came from nothing. One good shot there from Cammy Bryce has put him in this position.
Bluestone looks fairly safe in there, so job number one is certainly don't leave any kind of punch double to get that out between the yellows. I wouldn't have thought it would be anywhere near that.
Standing off this, I think it's bouncing off. Yeah, it looks a bit heavy, David.
Has he left him some kind of shot here?
Played that well. It looks like he's just pushed the yellow into second shot position. We're certainly having a good look at it. Who do you think lies second shot in there?
That's a toughie.
Probably the same shot, no matter who's second shot. Really have to make sure you make this and then
whether it's for
sort the rest out.
Exactly. It looks tight. Maybe just favour blue, but not by a lot. And not with any confidence, I'd hasten to add as well.
So he's just played this shot in his last stone, so it's that famous shot, the same again. Should know the ice, know where to put the brush down.
Yeah, same again, hardest shot in curling, isn't it? Which is always good.
You, David. Over curled there, and he's definitely moved the yellow out in the second shot, so that's a force for Cameron Bryce, forced to one there.
Yeah, umpires breathe a sigh of relief, not required on that one. So into the second end now. quite get the curl back to the centre line there. It's interesting watching Brewster, no matter where the opposition put it when he had last stone, it was just corner guard every time. Jungen electing to come round that, maybe thinks it's close enough to the corner.
Yeah, and Cameron Bryce won't be too worried about the first time, just try and put that behind them. We had a nose hit for the 2 there, but it's just a slight mistake, forced them to their single. So he calls put another guard on, slightly tighter to the house, and then hopefully they'll have someone to work with, just try and either force Jungen, correct?
We'll go with Jungen.
Try and force Jungen to single or indeed try to steal here.
Lesson 1 of doing this, just say the name confidently, nobody argues. It's all good. To be fair, the Jungen first stone probably caught a wee straight patch on the ice there. It certainly hasn't swung in very much. It's kind of loitering.
I struggled to see them coming round that. That's really a wasted stone there, to be honest. But Bryce's second stone there just really comes too far. You don't want them back tee. It just gives the Jungen ring something to work with. If they can come down on top of that now, really try and control that 4-foot area. These lead stones are so important just to get them in the correct position, just to try and build your end up. Really need to be too high on them.
Yeah, and I think about to become even more important with the five rock free guard zone as of next season.
That's right, David. Yep. Are the RCCC introducing that into their competition next season? I assume they will.
I would assume so. Yeah.
WCF rules. Also talk, I think, of some of the world and European competitions being cut from 10 ends down to 8 ends, so that should hopefully make for some more aggressive play early on in games.
Yeah, I think it's been needed for a while, that 10 ends to 8 ends move. That's definitely good. The five shot guard zone is quite an interesting one as well. That's they might need to put time clocks in for some games on that one, I suspect. Yeah,
it's just obviously the top teams have become so good at the tick shot these days that really the free guard zone has almost been nullified when you get to the top level of the sport. So this is just a move they've try and make the game more aggressive and more interesting for the spectators. Every sport has to change, try and keep the spectators and try and keep the game interesting. Here's another Cammy Bryce stone, just came back to and again. That's just not really a lot of use right there.
No, it's not prime position certainly. And all of a sudden that attempted centre guard's looking very much in the wrong place. Could end up watching a kind of mixed doubles style end here.
It's quite long, that guard, David, and there seems a lot of curl here, so I don't... As a guard, but there's room to get round it and bump back. That's why Cammy tried to put one just a wee bit closer to the house with his second lead stone.
Try and bump the backing away from this one with first stone, I would think.
Yeah, there is 2 blues in there, but the West team won't be too worried yet. They have got 1 guard out front. If they can try and move these stones back to you, give themselves something to freeze in against. My fault, they're running the guard, are they?
Yeah, that took me a bit by surprise, that one, I have to admit.
I thought obviously they think it's time to bail out this end here. They are getting worried by the 2 yellows back tee, and so they've decided at least if they run this guard, they'll have the blues are sitting close together, so if there's no guard, they will have an easy double there. just trying to replace this guard here, David?
Yeah, I think so. It's. I suppose that's the problem with taking the guard off. All of a sudden, you're now moving Bluestones, but that's just overswung a wee touch, hasn't it?
Shows him half, but I still think he'll take the run on the guard, David. It's too dangerous going after the shots to the house. If you happen to be on the high side and miss them, you're all of a sudden in a lot of problems.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just a better angle from the guard to run across the top of the Blues. That might be the. You can see all three Blues disappear here.
This Cameron Bryce team are just so accurate in run-back shots. You think you're in a good position then, all of a sudden, one stone like that just changes the whole end. Here and both yellows should go. He's jammed it, he's left the blue in the house, so Cameron here will have to try and hit this. Maybe try and roll a wee bit, try and leave a little bit of separation. There's inevitably going to be a double left here.
Yeah, it's not easy to get complete separation here, is there? It's in control of the end again, though.
Sweeper's indicating the weight's up.
Which might be just as well.
Yeah, no, he's the shot and he's left it double there, to be honest. I think he's called the hit and roll in front of the yellow, in front of the blue, sorry. If you make that double, your shooter probably rolls out the house and gives Cameron the chance to come round that corner again.
Yeah, it's one of them you think, oh, just straight back double, and then actually look at the angles, and yeah, so just trying to a wee flop in front of the other yellow here, maybe.
Just try and make it difficult for the blue to get removed.
Looks a bit high.
It doesn't like shot, but I don't think there's any way the Cameron Bryce rink can afford to leave that there. Yeah.
No, it's more of a case of how do we get rid of it, rather than
yeah, how do we get rid of it without leaving a double? Because if they could have a force here, it would be a good result for them.
How's sheet F looking out there?
So the Hare team are currently 6-3 up against the Spanish team. It's like Fraser's first stone here. The Scottish first stones. The Spanish team are 7-2. Fraser nose hits one, so actually it's a shot, but it's in the open. Their team will of course fancy themselves to be in the mix at the end of the weekend as well. I think they were runners up in the Bray Head competition, getting beat in the 8th end really by the Cameron Bryce rink. It was a close competition between the two, so they'll be looking to finish higher in the Bryce rink, and they could maybe a chance they could overtake them on the Scottish Curling Tour table.
Yeah, they had quite a disappointing weekend here the last time they were here, and just never made the quarters. But yeah, I know there were wee dark horses coming up the outside.
Struggled a wee bit as Forfar as well. Put out eventually, I think, by Keith Prentice's rank. I heard they've got a good player coming in tomorrow, so
they got a ringer in. Somebody who's carefully studying the ice here now, is it?
It's better than curling and commentating.
I better make sure we keep you off this board. Flip that on actually. Fraser here playing red stones.
No, Fraser's playing the blue stones. So this is his last stone here, and the Reds have last rocks of Let's see who's shot there. Roll here to sit short and buried behind the guards. He wants to make this. If it doesn't roll far enough here, it could leave a double for 3 potentially.
A bit of head scratching going on from the Spanish boys at the back of the rink there.
Back one and shift it for 3, I think it can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Really had to stick the shooter there, at least make them play the double.
In the game we were watching, there's absolutely nothing in the rings now. Young and Rink have a chance to go around the corner guard, so we'll get back to that one after we watch the end of this end.
On its way, David. Last stone in this end.
They look fairly calm.
Are on it. They're quite relaxed. They're just cleaning. I think they like it. There you have it on the nose for 3.
Yeah, good shot.
It takes that game to 6-all. 6-all after 6 ends.
Get back just in time to see that that was indeed a blank end. Kind of thought that end might have been going that way, so may as well watch something with stones in play.
White just came into this team this year, didn't he, David? I think he went to the World Juniors with them last year as 5th man.
He did, yeah, he did. He'd be a good third for Cammy Bryce. He'll be a...
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be a wee... It's like Fraser Shaw used to play, 100% sure it's not a good team. There's been a lot of shuffling about in the teams this year, hasn't there, David? On the men's circuit after the kind of Olympic cycle. Once the Olympic team was chosen, a lot of the teams have disbanded. David Murdoch's obviously took a coaching role, and Grant Hardy's decided not to skip his own ranking. Really, the teams are all changed.
It's almost a free-for-all. It's a free season, isn't it? It's you can have a go this season and next season to work out the team for the Olympic cycle next time.
Start concentrate on the next Olympics.
Yeah, I suppose that's what these boys are aiming at now, really.
Yeah.
They'll all be kind of battling for the next team to have a go at. Obviously Kyle Smith has that position at the moment.
Last year's winner here, I think, is it?
He was.
Yep. Maybe it's a
good sign.
Good luck omen.
Just brought that in junior.
Next thing you're in the Olympics.
Was it the Scottish Juniors? It was whoever won Goger, I think, that went on to win the Scottish Juniors. Greenacres maybe, but yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that.
There's a small chance Bruce might still get to the Olympics in the mixed doubles, of course, depending on the Russian decision and what happened with the Russian athletes going. I think Scotland finished 1 place out of the Olympic position, so if for some reason the Russian athletes don't go forward to the Olympics, there will be an opening there for Bruce Millett, which would, well, it's him and Gene Aitken plays, but that would, of course, throw the men's competition right open again here, because that would leave Bruce Millett not able to, competitions running at the same time, so that would take him out and skip a position for his rank, so that would be interesting as well.
Yeah, it would throw it, and just to throw something else into the mix, Bruce and Gene have obviously acquired all the points. They're not current Scottish champions though.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. So that would
just to throw something out there.
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shame Scotland won't have representation in the mixed doubles, because I think it will get quite a lot of publicity for the Olympics, and of course ensures curling, not that it's in a great time zone for the UK, but curling's on TV every single day of the Olympics this time, which will be good. So we start.
It's a faster moving format, isn't it, the mixed doubles? Not to everyone's taste, but there is a lot more rocks and play generally in the format. It's quicker going and it's less stones per end, so it is spectator friendly, I would say.
It is, and I think they've improved it quite a lot, having the power play option, so it's not just the same between the power play and moving the set stone to the back of the forefoot. It gives a bit more variation, because it was a bit of a race to the bottom, and if the first player could get it on top, then
starting to get freeze.
It was a bit.
No, it's certainly a format that is growing in interest. Obviously, its inclusion in the Olympics is showing of that.
I think the only danger with it is it's hard enough to explain a normal game of curling to somebody. Trying to explain mixed doubles is. Having said that, I'm not looking forward to explaining to the general public this year how when we sweep a stone it's to stop it swinging, but sometimes to make it swing, and sometimes to speed it up, and sometimes to slow it down.
Yeah, of course, and there has been the change of fabric that has meant to have stopped that this year, but you do still see directional sweeping, and you'll notice these teams this weekend. Some teams just work with the one sweeper, some with the two. There seems to be no set way now. It's kind of up in the air. I think it's been proven that the directional sweeping isn't as effective, but perhaps it's been proven that the second sweeper away from the stone has actually been ineffective, isn't doing anything, so that's why you really see one sweeper. It's more a case of the second sweeper saving his energy, as opposed to the fact the second sweeper's being counteractive.
Yeah, kind of keeping themselves fresh more than anything else. Yeah, it's quite depressing how many years we've been working our backsides off as a second sweeper, and apparently it was for absolutely hee-haw. It's quite incredible that we've gone like hundreds of years on one assumption, and now that's just complete rubbish.
Yeah, I think it's just the physical strength in the last 3 or 4 years as well of the top team. It was a complete game changer. People actually started realising what the sweepers could do. The game really changed 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't think that's really what they were trying there, but it's not a bad result in terms of trying to generate it too.
Cameron's got to deal with one of these blues. He does sit short. You can't have 2 blues. His blues are sitting second and third, so you can't afford to leave them in the last stone. I don't even know if he wants to roll here, David. If he does get the roll, he will be back team.
I think even just a hit on the nose, if that doesn't leave a double, or even just a slight roll out.
Oh, he's very high. I think he's rolling right. Gets rid of the blue, but he would have liked to really stick the shooter. I think they could probably come round here at half weight and move that Bryce stone out of the top 4 and probably out of the house, to be honest, and lie 2.
Yeah, I think what we've seen is generally there's a slightly swingier side and a straighter side, and I think this is on the swingier side this time. They played on this ice a couple of times this week, and it's, yeah, one side was a lot straighter, but I think they've ironed that issue out.
Yeah, it'll just take these teams a wee while just to work their way into it. I did notice, David, there's no free practice at the start of the game either, so it's straight in. We are in the third end now. We should be starting to figure out what the ice is doing, but it does take a wee while. Different ice rink. Probably the first time that Cameron's signed right here this year. So.
Yeah, we looked at putting practice in for the first game, but it's it adds an unbelievable amount of time to the whole competition, because it's free practice followed by a draw shot. It's not ideal for them. So it does that. Yeah, in an ideal world we'd have time to have the practice in there, but not to be. And I think that's where we're really looking for kind of more teams to take part, so we can move to maybe a triple knockout or some kind of different form, more groups with fewer teams, something like that.
Youngin didn't really move that yellow far enough there, did he, David? He pushed it out of shot position, but it does lie second shot, so Cameron doesn't need to play the double here. As long as he hits the blue, he then lies 2. It's very difficult for Youngin to score his 2 this end.
It's on the nose pretty much, and now he's rolling. It's a good shot. maybe having a bit more of a gamble with this with last stone? Maybe tempted just to throw it down on top?
I don't know, the problem you do with that is then Cameron comes down again on top of you, and then how are you getting in for a second one? You might be able to draw down on your in-turn round the guard. I really feel you have to move that one back slightly, even if you roll out a little bit.
Yeah, as long as you stay on the high side of it by moving it back, you should leave some kind of jam if they try and take the double on the blues. So I think he's looking to move it more than a bit here.
Yeah. I have to say, I fancy Cameron Rice to make this double move.
Yeah.
It's looking like a force for me. Anywhere on the inside, really, two ways go.
Yeah, as Ross is kind of doing with his brush there, you don't actually even need to take the double, do you? Just a hit and roll to the blue would be.
Makes it very difficult. If he makes a shot, David, he almost forces Youngman to come round that centre guard and try and sit top four. It's the only way really it's going to score two now. It doesn't look like he's going to get inside.
No, it doesn't, and it's sometimes easier though, isn't it, when they are kind of forced into that, and it's well, I may as well throw it round the middle, get my weight, and
exactly. So he's going to have a draw with his last, so at least get a sighter in there and throw one, see what happens. Of course, he can't be short with it. Anyway, this shot you're still got to get made first.
Yeah, the money would be on it being made. The sweepers look pretty happy. One blue, two blues.
There we go, easy as that. So there we go. Called it straight away. Has to come round at the top four here. Like I say, David, back tee's no good, and neither is really short. It has to come into short position here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a top four or nothing here, really, isn't it? It needs to be right behind the guard. Vice skip looks happy enough with the line to start with. Overswinging.
It's just popping out, isn't it? But it's a good effort.
No doubt about what's going to happen here, just the discussion about the weight, really, I think. I would think they'll see a good half to three quarters, maybe even more.
Yeah, there's some discussion, I think, like you say, David, they're just deciding whether they want to pick this out over the top, or whether they actually want to try and get cute with that guard and play an inside roll, in which case they would be looking good for a steal. It's just a wee bit dangerous, you have to be quite close to that guard to do that.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a professional side to miss this on. Saw quite a lot of that in the first session where against Brewster, the bar rink, where they hit quite a few guards on the centre line, just at this kind of, just in this kind of place, really. I'm a wee bit anxious about it. Effort, just trying to get a wee bit of finish on it.
Straight away he calls the draw, the same draw he just played, so he's got to make this good. He's got the forefoot, but he's got to be fully in the forefoot.
If that was you skipping that, was that a hit on the nose coming up?
Well, Skip really should be able to draw the forefoot, but it's sometimes easier said than done. goalkeepers look happy with this, they're just cleaning it. That's how it's done.
Covers the lid. Well played. Pressure shot, but makes it 1-1 after 3. So into the fourth end, Cameron Bryce with last stone advantage. Game all square. And Jungan Rink have started to peel guards, but not the best peel in the world. Leaves a bit of a mess of blue stones. I'm interested to see how aggressive Bryce is here. Halfway point. Nice to get a couple of shot lead before the halfway.
These guards have not really couple of centre guards that are more useful to the Cammy Bryce rookie than the other. Cammy's called to come in.
Yeah, just as he moves there and we can see them, it's that they're not really sitting nice for the Union rink to actually push them up either, are they?
That last one's just came across and they're staggered now, so it's even worse. It's going to take 2 stones to move them, but I think Cammy's... Sorry, I thought we were tight there and we were looking heavy.
They look heavy.
Sweepers are right off this. Just bites on at the back and that stone might come to play at the end of the end, David, you never know. Union here has got a good chance now to hit and roll behind these guards.
Yeah, again taking a bit of ice, so down weight, as you say, seems to be the way to play it.
It gives the sweepers a wee bit more. Sweepers are standing off this again. It's a slight roll, quite far enough. I don't think Cameron will be able to get to the inside of that.
There's not a lot of space, to be fair. There's not a huge amount of space to get on the inside of that.
Can't get it high and jam it on the back one either, David. He won't be wanting to do that. That yellow one, really just keep your eye on it because he will be hoping to bring it into play.
Good shot.
Shot. It only shows half of it shown out. Putting this right under a bit of pressure now.
They're not even looking at the guards, as you say. It will take 2 stones to remove them, 4 stones to come, so that bailouts may be passed here.
Yeah, still 4 stones to come, and I may have been tempted just to try and play the double peel on the guards. You might be lucky in one man back in peel there as well.
Yeah, playing the top one back across the face of the second one.
At least that way you're only losing 2, but there is a risk here if you let the yellow stones build up in the house. You could be looking at losing 3. You really don't want to be doing that at the halfway mark.
No, not against a team with the hitting ability that Bryce has. Certainly in terms of peeling, it's fairly straightforward for them. That's a kiss of death for it, isn't it? Bring on the freshies in N6.
Move that yellow stone out, but they roll out themselves, so really they give Cameron a free draw around these guards. So if he can draw a dead buried top 8 foot, just where his brush is, then there is not really many options left for the Union rink here.
I think the key is staying top 8 foot as well, isn't it? Any deeper and they're going to just follow him down. Presume they won't hit the guards with the Vice's last stone anyway, if they didn't hit it with the first one. I said if it does go buried, they probably don't have an option but to hit the guards.
They're standing off this. Well, they're starting to push it a bit now. Good.
It's quite high line. It does finish though.
A wee bit, but I think they can get to the inside of that, David. If they're not, they can certainly get the double. I think they would be happy with either. I think a good shooter's important. I'd rather have a good shooter here than lift the double. Lift the double, you still give Ross White the chance to hit the guards.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because if you get on the inside of this at all, it takes that out of the equation and pretty much takes that back heel out of the equation as well. Require a bit of a shave of a guard here. But,
high, I think they'll need to get the double now.
Double now, yeah.
Over the top of that one.
don't think any prizes for guessing what's coming next.
No, I don't think they even want the roll here, David. Just a simple nose hit. Doesn't really leave an easy shot for a young man.
Yeah, like I say, no need to risk the roll, is there? Just nose hit, even roll slightly out the way.
Exactly. Even if you roll perfectly, always force the young man to play the freezer and just get hits there and over complicated. Just keep exchanging hits here. You're looking good for your two.
I think that's where you would see a lot of people trying to get the hit and roll across there too early. And
yeah. You want to try and keep play away from that 4 foot, don't you?
there is the risk though if they do make a good hit and roll here.
Yep, that's true. The shot certainly is good. You're on the tee line. Still would be able to come down on top of it, but still put the pressure on.
It's close.
I think he's high.
It's high, sorry, yeah, it's high.
Has he got the double? Oh, he just shaved by the edge of that. It wasn't the shot they were going for in the start. You've got to take your walk.
It sounded maybe a bit of miscommunication between the skip and the vice as well, kind of one shouting yes and no, and maybe
this is interesting here. Cameron could have placed that stone where it was, but he's choosing to come round the centre guard, so that could really set up the possibility of a 3. He's taking a wee bit of a risk here, but the stone position has to be good.
Yeah, it's quite an aggressive move, that, isn't it?
If you draw the 12 foot again just open, then the young team have to hit that shot, and it's a very difficult roll to get hit at. Even if you did roll, you would go back tee. This way Cameron feels he can get his 3.
And again, just don't want to be too deep on this one. The sweepers get carried away and take it to the tee line.
Yeah, that's really good. You need to be top 8 here, really. Don't want to be too short, give Youngman room to come right round anyway. You also don't want to be too deep and leave a freeze. I don't think he's getting buried. Well, there is finish at the end. But
it's finish, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, he's shown him half, but it's not an easy shot to pick that out. Again, these staggered guards are really coming on. I really feel they probably should have done something to move them earlier on.
Yeah, Vice's first shot, it was there to do, wasn't it? And just try and push one into the house at least.
Wait. We do need to get at least half stone to move that yellow out. Quarter stone of hack weight might only tickle that yellow to the wings, and you're losing 3.
Dangerous shot, this.
You can almost be tempted to put the weight up, take the edge of the stone and play pure weight.
It's all over the guard. Not even close to that one.
That was an aggressive call from Cameron to come round the centre, and it's paid dividend really now. 3 going into the halfway mark. Like you said before, against a rink of this calibre, it takes a lot of clawing back.
Yeah, you just... I suppose it's one of these, the danger for them as well as they go into the 5th end really chasing a 2, and you lose that steal of a 1, and all of a sudden it's pretty much game over at that stage. So he's even got the yellow to come up against here, hasn't he? It's
yeah, the sweepers don't look worried about this at all. Cameron makes easy to sleep. There you have it, three yellows. Like we said, if you move them guards early on in the end, yes, you're losing 2, but you're not really losing 3. Out of nowhere, you're 4-1 down, but there's no need to panic yet. Still 4 ends left.
yeah, 4. That's halfway.
4 ends left. So.
The other scores.
Get your 2 and force, get your 2, and then steal up the last.
Exactly. Yeah, just keep going at that. So I think a few scores to be updated there, but pretty much every game fairly tight. I'm pretty sure Mount has finished his first end. I hope he has anyway.
On sheet F I can see the first draw game, which is behind schedule. Fraser Hairs are actually losing that. The Spanish have stole one, so they're 7-6 up.
That into the last couple of ends?
No, they're in the last end now.
Last end.
Fraser Hare ranked one down with Hammer going up the last.
We'll keep a wee eye on that and maybe switch across to it for the last few stones.
Cameron Bryce will call top 4, I would imagine here. He's not wanting too much clutter out the front now, he's got that lead. I'm in top 4 and we'll see Youngman, I would expect, put up a corner guard. He really needs to get some stones in play here. Try and force some play a little bit.
Too early.
Boys have just had a couple of missed shots, the Youngman like. Not out of this yet.
Too early to go double corners?
Well, I think we will see them put 2 corners up.
It's quite interesting when you watch with the five rock rule. A lot of teams are chucking two corner guards on the same side.
Yeah.
I just wonder if that'll eventually filter into the thoughts here.
Problem with 2 corner guards on the same side against this Cameron right striker, they're so good at them run backs. And you have to have them dead in a line, or really you have got to fancy them to make the double. What really you need here is 2 corner guards, dead level. Both that first one's on the tricolour logo. If you can put one on the other side, same height, just try and leave no double for the break. Such big hitters these guys, and they're lacking it as well.
And that's probably the only downside to where that stone is. They could have probably done with it a little bit shorter because the run back is very much in play there. Anything comes behind it.
Yeah, they come round that, and that's really just a 6-foot run back. Maybe because that's so tight to the house, you may see another corner guard go up on the same side, just near the hog line on the same side. Oh, he's coming into the house to play on that. I really feel it's too early to do that, to be honest.
He's looking at, I think his teammates have talked him out of that.
If you come into the house now, you have so many stones. The Cameron Bryce striker can make a double, and before you know it, there's going to be no stones left to play. You have to try and get someone out front, someone to come round.
I think that's definitely the right call, isn't it? It's
So he's just coming a wee bit deep as well, David. He's going to be in the house. Yeah, leaves a double there in the blue guards. There's options here. He can play the double in the blues or hit and roll and leave another centre guard.
as long as he's on the inside of this blue, he can't really go too far wrong, can he? This is normally when my skip tells me that, and I just screw the handle out sideways and find the outside edge.
Don't be wide, just what you want to hear when you're in the hack.
Exactly. Guess where it's going. I think the other one is when you play a draw shot and they say, oh, the line was good.
As you're at the bucket.
Aye, exactly.
So the single peel in the guard and they'll be happy enough with that. He doesn't need to get too fancy, do you? You just play the scoreboard, you're 3 up. Last thing you want is a clutter of stones all about.
I think the only danger is going a wee bit too relaxed and you almost give an automatic 2 back the way.
Yeah, and you're only 1 up, and then just gets the young and rink, swings momentum back there.
Sometimes wonder after a 3, and I know it's not a percentage way to play, but not necessarily not going to the extent of slinging a guard up, but just actually putting another one in the house there. Yeah. Just freeze it right on top of the yellow and see what they do.
Yeah, because then you worry if you throw a corner guard and then before you know it you've got 2 frozen guarded and sort of a bit of bowling.
just switch across to sheet F. Remind me who's playing which stones in this?
Yeah, so Fraser's playing blue stones. He has last stone. And I think this is Fraser's first, so Fraser here.
So looking pretty good for them here then.
Yeah, sitting 2 here, there's 2 still to come. Fraser's got Jamie Royer, hasn't he? Moved up to.
He has, yeah.
He's out of Dumfries as well, so again, local knowledge always helps. He's got him playing in that rank as well, so he plays out of Dumfries a lot.
And Scott Vicing it from Leeds, is that?
Yeah, Scott throws first, but then to rush for Fraser.
It's not a bad lead.
He's too old to sweep, really.
2 stones or 4 stones enough.
Scott's spent his time this year. He's coaching the young Hamish Gallagher, having a successful year this year. I think they're playing this competition this week as well.
Yeah, they are. Yep, they are.
Fraser comes in and lies 3. That's what he has to do now, because this is the Spanish skip's final stone here. So what does he do? He can't lift the chip. All he is play the freeze. It's a brave call, but I don't really see what other shot he has.
He's not got a lot else, has he? The only other one is maybe try and lift the double and roll in behind the corner blue somehow. But
yeah, that's a way shot with as well. So don't you? Fraser just went for his 2
yeah, exactly.
for the game. So he doesn't have to sit shot after this, the Spanish skipper. I don't think he really intends to, but all he's trying to do here is stop the Fraser here right from getting their 2, and then he'll have Hammer going into the extra end.
Which I imagine the 2 teams that are waiting to go on will be delighted if this goes to an extra end.
Oh, is there a game on after this?
Yeah, this is over tight and light. It's not there. It's nowhere near. There you go, game over.
It's a good win left for local rink. Spanish will be a bit jet lagged, of course. I think the game was delayed because they're just getting in their flights.
Yeah, and then there was only 3 of them, so I think they've actually got one of the Dumfries juniors playing with them as well, I think. Might be wrong with that, I think they do.
Yeah, not that Dumfries juniors going to be for the big
No, definitely not, to be
fair. It's
fair.
obviously difficult going in when you've not played with them before, just getting to know how different people through.
Yeah, I think there's a Swiss rink in the previous session had a nearly came a cropper to the Carson rink, but not quite.
Of course, this is the competition where shots happen, don't they? I'm sure the year that David Murdoch went to the Olympics, his Olympic rink came here and was beat by Graham Sloan. And in fact,
no, I wasn't. I decided about half an hour before the game that I couldn't. Well, there was an option not to play, so I took it. Kind of wish I hadn't. Well, actually no, because they probably wouldn't won the game if I'd have done that. But yeah, that was quite a big shock as well. I think if I hope I'm not doing a disservice, but I'm pretty sure they lost all 3 games, and that was it.
There you go. That's sport for you, isn't it? Nothing's for certain, and you can't take anything for granted in sport. So you just got to go out and play your best and see what happens. Yeah,
exactly. And it's so while we've been away, there's a wee chance of Blues to get a 2 here. I don't really like that call very much, I have to admit. But
yeah, so Youngin lies second shot, but he is in a good position, isn't he? He's in front of that yellow, and it's a really easy shot to tap that blue back and lay 2.
Again, how aggressive, if you can get a 3/4 stone freeze on the outside, leave it in a position where you can play a tap with your second shot.
I think that's what he's called. He called it. He's coming right round that. Like you say, half check on that blue. Why first and third shot, and you're really making it difficult for Youngin to score there, just.
Yeah, I think so. And again, the other option is just sling a guard up and see what they actually do. You
could also do that, yeah, but still feel the draw's open on the other side. If you flung a guard at the end turn, there is a draw right round out turn, round everything. Then you're forced to try and play on the guards. Here we go, Rosswhite stones on its way up and they're sweeping it hard. Well, from here I think they're guarding.
No,
dragging it in rather than getting that.
I think that's a kind of plan B result, that one, isn't it? It's,
I think it was a shot they called, but they're probably reasonably happy with that.
There's a Hackweight shot through a hole there.
The double in the yellows, but it's hard to make that double hand spin the shooter out. I kind of feel that you leave your shooter guarded.
Interesting if the blue runs straight back, but the danger with that, I think you have to play it off a yellow somewhere, because the danger with trying to run it straight through is you just leave the shooter where the shot stone is there.
Yeah,
so
if you're slightly off, you still leave a guard. Your blue's gone. Can't move those well, in trouble.
The game starts to slip away at that stage.
Double peel on them guards, David. I really feel that's the shot that you have to play. Does Cameron keep guarding that? It's hard to keep guarding that. If you make the double peel on them guards, he's got to make the guard perfect, or you're having a shot for two.
And I think even if he makes a guard perfect, there's probably swing on both hands to nudge it back.
And you really don't have to move it far to lay two.
Yeah, you've got to take the guards off here.
If you take the guard off, Cameron probably throws heat at them two in the 4 foot anyway and removes them both.
Yeah, possibly. But then the blank's on.
Yeah, but you still then have the chance to come around that yet. There would be a single yellow left out the front of the house.
Yeah, again, they just have to be a wee bit careful. They don't overthink this one, I think. Called the slash now. Looking at running this yellow back.
I suppose any contact with the blue, and the blue does leave short, but you probably would end up leaving a yellow in the house somewhere as well.
I suppose a nose hit might just about leave the guard where it is.
Yeah. Like you say, David, I tend to think they've overthought this shot.
It's the result of a bit of pressure, but that's not the result they were after.
Look at the two guards, David, but they're really the wrong two, I would suggest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, doesn't look very bright at this stage. So yellow line shot, blue's line second shot, and it is. I'm not sure it's actually possible to nudge that blue back and lie two now, is it?
We've got the one at the back of the 4 foot to contend with. Cameron just looking to come round, half round this top yellow here.
Quite like the corner freeze on the blue again.
Yeah.
Yep. So much easier from up here, isn't it? Because you play every shot 100%. It's dead easy.
I don't even know if you want to freeze right in. They're calling the freeze right in. You don't want to leave the angles where they can hit that yellow, get rid of the two yellow signs and leave the blue. Just got to watch the angles here.
No, it's kind of risk and reward, isn't it? Because if they do leave an angle, that blue disappears. Even just a quarter freeze, the blue disappears and they can't get a hit and roll in behind the corner guard either. The Jungen's in a world of trouble at that stage. Although we've seen him draw the 4 foot pretty well so far, so he's always got that as a bailout option.
Not what it called, David, but it's doing a job there as well, really, isn't it?
It's putting the pressure on. Yep.
Yeah, I think Jungen has to come round now, try and lie shot, frozen in against that yellow. Between the yellow and the blue would be absolutely perfect. And
to be fair, if he does that, it gives him the option of a silly shot off the winger that's behind his shoulder at the moment. Just as a complete lottery shot. About hog-line infringements going on up here. I'd love to know who they're talking about. Can I? Hold on, they're speaking to Scott about it. It must be Scott.
I don't think Scott can slide out to the hog-line.
Fair point. This looks pretty good. Just
shot. You could really do to be shot. The angles aren't good for tapping it back out the yellow with his last one.
Yeah, pretty horrible now, aren't they? They're see, Ross is looking at my stupid shot over there. Yeah, that's not a bad call actually, is it? Just block the 4 foot. Yeah, I think it must be. It's one if the yellow blue's an option, but
they're leaving the yellow to run back on the right hand side here. Of course, you can't guard everything. The problem is if you ever run that yellow back into the pocket, you could always take the double on the blues.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go with the guard, block the draw.
You might see your shot off the winger yet.
There might not be a lot else on at the end of this. Again, his first shot's just come fractionally too far for that, though, hasn't it? It's
yeah, it's certainly tightening it up, isn't it? It's tough to get in between the back of that yellow and make contact with it, and the black and the blue and make contact with the yellow.
I do wonder if that yellow run back's on. It's either on or you lift both blues, as you say, though. That's a slight problem.
I think it looks easier to me than off the winger.
Yeah, I think so. It's a bit longer than he wanted.
I don't think it's guarding the draw, but they're not looking at the draw, are they? They seem by the sweeping action, they're going to play the run back in the yellow.
I just wonder if that's one of these that they'd already assumed the guard would be in place, so they've talked themselves into the run back. And
there's definitely a draw in that guard, isn't there?
yeah, without a doubt. They may just feel they need the 2 here. That's the other.
Yeah, so here we go, final stone. I really feel this is a pivotal point in the game, David. They have to make this shot now.
Yeah, 5-1's bad, 6-1's even worse. Just to state the complete obvious, but
they're standing off it. Yeah, it's too high.
On yellow. Yeah, you'd have to feel that's a fairly decent steal for them, to be honest. F being prepared for that, the last game of the day going on, just the game on their own, so they're going to be burning the midnight oil later on. John Graham going from the commentary box to doing the ice prep. That's multitasking and a half in a day. Bryce to put this one in the rings. That's where they're trying to get it. The sweepers are working it pretty hard. Yeah, they've made it. And another corner guard from Jungan. Somebody's no happy out there. A brush banging going on.
Brush slamming on it. I think it's on sheet D, where Bruce Mount is currently getting beat 3-1 by the Marshall rank. Just there from our growth, so if they can keep that lead, that's certainly a good result. We're halfway in the game, mind, there's still time yet. Never discount Bruce Mount in this rank.
No, definitely not.
And the corner guard goes up from Rungan, and really needs to throw 2 corner guards here. It's a better length this time, David. So
yeah, it's definitely a better corner guard, isn't it? So yeah, we'll kind of see how.
Whatever that is.
Glad you mentioned it. Saves me doing it later.
I realise why we're covering this on the podcast.
It's amazing how often we cover the sheet. Wait till we get the top-down cameras. Just tickles the yellow as it comes in the house. Not a bad result. I don't think they'll make a play. No, they are. No, they're not. They're going to corner. Yeah, no option now, really, do they?
Did catch that guard, David. It's no disaster, but it's not ideal because it does leave the double for Jungan later on in the end. They can leave the double and go behind the corner guard side.
Yeah, it's quite nice angles for them. Said earlier, the lead stones really are crucial to setting the whole end up. And there's 2 perfect lead stones. And just start off with single peels here. Yeah. And again, 5-1 lead, don't have to overcomplicate it. If you give up a 2 here, it's not a disaster. So you can really looking for a nose or some kind of jam somewhere.
Mistake here. mistake there, David. He's missed the guard. He actually got slightly fortunate and tickled the yellow in the way, so he's lining him up a bit better. So.
Yeah, in terms of setup, they're actually not too much worse off. They might be in a minute.
We'd rather have seen that guard go.
Yeah.
Just through that pure weight, and it just didn't get any curl at all. So here we go, he's coming in the corner guard. And I'm sure we'll see Cameron go straight out and peel that guard off.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be shy at having another go at it, will he? Yeah. I don't think it matters if this is directly behind the corner guard, does it? It says, you say, he's going to go for the guard.
He said that he's straight out of the corner.
Talked into sense.
So we've got Cameron and Bryce line 3 here. Young and Rink do have a shot in the house. We don't need to start making the play in these yellows now, David, don't they? So they can try and bring those into play.
Yeah, I think it's almost a hit and roll off that top one, roll to the wing somewhere, and just see what you lift when you do that. You could
lift to make a double here, because if you don't, Cameron can make the hit back and you get some separation. You're really struggling. You might not get a better chance in this anyway to make a double in the end.
No, exactly, and I think keeping the shooter hanging about is probably fairly key to their chances in the game.
Yeah. If you don't, Cameron makes a play on that one on the other side, you're really getting forced to run after that.
Yeah, I would say so.
There, David, and we've left a double here on the Blues for Saturday. Even if he doesn't make this double, struggle to get into. It's a pretty easy double now. I see the angles, isn't it? It's just off nose, and the two Blues go. And
the only danger out here, and I'm sure these boys are well on top of it, that it does get a little bit straighter towards the edge of the 8 foot. You certainly don't want to be on the high side of this.
This shot's made, Youngin's struggling to make his single, make his deuce here.
Yeah, I think at this point, if you make it, you're all out to win the game in this end, isn't it? It's
hits and roll perfect.
Good luck, I think, is the.
Yeah, well.
I think he's got 2 stones. I think.
Triple and roll behind that yellow that Cameron's just thrown in. David, that's the shots there. If you hit that perfect, all 3 of them yellows go, and you will lie dead buried behind the 2 yellows. It's do or die. You have to try it.
It's about his only option now, isn't it?
There. I think it's there.
If he has got the 2 stones left, it's worth a go anyway, just to get the shooter.
And it's a big weight. Sweepers are on it. Oh, it's tight. It's just lifting the top yellow. I think we could see handshakes here in a minute if we don't see a miracle here from the Young and Rink.
No point coming in here, is there? It's just bite the circles, lie 4 against. Anything into the 8 foot, lets him hit on the nose, try and lift a triple for his 1, or.
The draw's really blocked on the other side as well, David, so if this card's good, really there's not a lot of options left.
No, because even the one on the tee lines, are told you can't even hit and roll off that one on the sideline. Sorry, it's too far back. You're going to give up a 1 at least, and
you like your ambitious shots off the wingers, David.
It's got to be done.
Never even noticed that one out there.
It's getting to that desperation stage.
Saved for later.
Total desperation stage.
Well, comes up short, and that really is not the best shot that Cameron's played there, to be honest. It's come round that guard. The receptionist called the draw to the bottom. I thought he could maybe come round that, kind of barrier weight and move them 2 yellows and lie shot. But he's called the draw, so it's got to be accurate here.
I have to admit, I mean, if he's sliding past that top yellow, he's going to really struggle to hold the line.
Yeah.
To stay short would be. He certainly played it quickly. And that'll be handshakes. There we go.
It's a good win on the board, chopped up for Cameron Bryce.
Yeah, potential banana skin avoided. On to the next game. So their next game will be tomorrow sometime. I think it's 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's us. So we'll switch over onto D, onto the Mowat game. Impressed by how slickly we can change games. Well practiced. So 6th end, Marshall 3-1 up on Mowat. Mowat with Last Stone playing the Redstones.
Looking at the board down there, David, it's actually 4-1 to the Marshall team.
So this is actually the 7th end then, is it?
The 3rd end Marshall got a 3. The 3rd end Bruce scored his 1. The 3rd end Marshall, the 5th end Marshall got a 5. And then the 6th end they stole another 1.
So actually ignore pretty much everything I said. We're in the 7th end, it's 4-1, but Bruce still does have Last Stone and is still playing the Redstone, so at least we hopefully got that bit right.
This really is a surprising scoreline when you go across this game, David, isn't it? So like you said, the Bruce Mowat team is really the on-form team now. You've got a number of Scottish Championship champions in that team, and World Gold medalists as well. Like you say, Grant Hardy won the World Mixed Championship this year. Bruce himself has won the World Juniors. He was silver medalist in the Scottish men's last year, and they really have had a sensational start to the season in Canada this year.
Yeah, this would be a huge upset to start with, and obviously I've given them the jinx of saying they were my favourites to win the thing.
I have to say though that the good teams can bounce back from wins and they're not, from losses. They're not out this game yet. Grant, of course, skipped his own team last year, didn't he? But he came into this team, and it really seems to be a combination that's working well. Yes. You've got Grant's cousin, Hammy McMillan. He's played lead to the team as well, hasn't he?
They seem to have just clicked anyway. Yeah. They seem to. It's that kind of team dynamics, isn't it? And I think from what I gather, in the kind of performance squads, they are encouraged more to pick their own teams and their own groups now. So
it certainly seems to work for this team, doesn't it?
Definitely.
I'd say there are 4 good individuals as well. Hammy will have definitely a Scottish Championship under his belt with Tom Brewster in 2016.
Yep. And there's a good bit of experience. Still a young team though, but a good bit of experience in there.
Not a young team. I think in fact when Bruce won the National in Canada this year, he was the youngest men's skip ever to win one. I think 23 years of age he was when he won it.
I got kind of lost with the first because he was the first Scottish male to win.
That's correct. The first Scottish male and the youngest skip.
Just a great achievement. And yeah, I watched the final of that game, and it was fairly one-sided in all honesty. It was a couple of good ends, and that was it. I think most of the bigger scalps were earlier in the competition, certainly. But good signs for the depth of Scottish curling though. Next Olympic cycle should be good fun.
certainly the quality there, David, but it's just a shame we don't see more entries in some of these competitions. We've got a good entry here at Dumfries, but you see the entries for the Scottish Championship rumoured to be below 10 this year. It's quite disappointing for the sport, really. Something that really need to work on, something that RCCC need to look at, as well as the clubs, how we can encourage teams to play in this.
I sometimes wonder if they go back to the kind of regional qualifiers, and I know that maybe doesn't sit, even if maybe 4 or 6 of the teams come through the performance pathway, and then there's 4 spaces for regional, or it's a difficult one. The funded teams obviously do have an advantage, but if we expect to win gold medals, we need to be funding the teams, because
you're dead right there, David. The whole game, the quality has moved on across the world, hasn't it? And we really have to fund teams to be able to keep up with that. When you see the accuracy, the Swedish teams, Nicholas Edin's got, it's unbelievable curling, and we can't be left behind. And so to do that, we need full-time curlers, really.
And you have the big teams like the Edins, your Rolls Roads, Canadian teams, but even the likes of China will have 3 or 4 fully funded teams, and it's not going to be too far until they are really challenging at the top level. So that's the only way to get the Olympic success, which basically drives the sport just now, isn't it? So but yeah, it's just that challenge of how do you get the guys that enjoy weekend curling but just don't fancy the Scottish.
So we'll of course have the Scottish Championship this year, which Kyle Smith won't be able to play in because he'll be at the Olympics. So the winner of the Scottish will play against Kyle in a playoff weekend to decide who will go to represent Scotland at the World Championships, which is this year is in Las Vegas. So
yeah, it's quite a good one to win, isn't it?
Watch that.
And hey, if they want any commentators for that, more than happy. It's
keep you out of the casino, David.
Yeah. No, it'll be a good one, that one, I think, and I think the playoff will be a good thing, actually. Should get a bit of media attention.
Get a bit of buzz about it. Where's that getting played? Has it been announced?
I think it has. I'll get shot if it hasn't, but I think it's Stirling.
Right.
We just lost out to it, so unfortunately, it would have been quite a nice one to get here. We had some quite grand plans involving a load of things, but not to be.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like you say, it will be a good spectacle, and hopefully try and get a bit of buzz about it.
So I think we're still keen to bring things like that back to Dumfries, so I believe we're in the running for things like that, so it's always good.
The reason why you can't hear David, because it is a great facility here, this station.
Yeah, and
it's good. There's a good speed this year. We've got a lot of colours, so
I think we've got a track record of getting people through the door as well. The Worlds in 2014, there was a lot of people through the door, so I forget the numbers, but because it was part public funded, there was a big economic benefit study done which lists all the numbers and everything else, so it's
still a wider benefit, isn't there, to having these competitions. The local economies all help. I'm sure the B&Bs and the hotels around the area will be glad of this competition this weekend. It's good to get people into Dumfries.
It is, and between us and the ice hockey next door, I think we struggled to find a hotel room in Dumfries this weekend, which I'm guessing isn't always the case mid-December.
So anyway, what stage are we at in this game here anyway?
So I think we're into Vice Skip Stones.
It's obviously the Marshall rig to throw, and they're line 1 on the button.
I'm not seeing a whole heap of danger if they sling a guard up, to be totally honest, but I do now. I see the red in the corner. I'm not sure what he's called here, to be honest. Is he trying to come hack weight round the corner guard? Is that what he's
trying to punch that red out? I think you're correct there, David. He could lie 3 if he makes this shot, but I think he's all over the guard. He is.
He's nowhere near the weight, does he?
He's actually coming over and blocking the port, is he? No, I think he's left. There's a hole there, surely, to come through to that shot. Just with that one shot, the end's changed here, really. It's went from the Marshall rig being able to lie 3 to really now Bruce Mount could be able to lie 2.
It's just got the makings of a biggish end, this one, hasn't it? It's just that scrappiness to it. And
you really can't afford to take your eye off the ball, can you, playing these teams?
I think they've also got the ability just to shelve the bad shots. You can't assume they're going to keep playing the bad ones. It's they can turn it around fairly quickly.
Yes, there you see it hack weight through the port, and then really if they get any kind of roll either way, they're dead worried.
It probably doesn't change the Marshall shot though, does it? They're probably just going to go after that wing again and try and get a wee hit and roll on.
They can't afford to lose 3 here. Oh, this could be on the guard too. They're working hard now, they're by.
Yeah, they're by. It's too high on it though.
Well, if Bruce Mount plays a split now in that front red, they can sit 3, and I think they have to play it now when it's taking the chance.
It's almost it's the kind of double, isn't it?
Yeah, the angles are just right, aren't they?
This is Bruce's first stone. Play the double on this. Yeah, you're in for a 3 if you get this right. Because I think the Marshall rink will go quite defensive. 3's not a disaster. Peels down the last with last stone. Would have hoped to be a little bit better than that.
Hit roll off this play.
To be fair, if he does that, it's going to be quite hard not to lose a 3 and easy to lose a 4 if he makes that.
If he makes that perfect, the Marshall rink could come through the port that Grant came through with his last stone. Yeah, and he's eyed up this double, and that's the shot he's going for.
There's maybe an element of this of actually just putting the pressure on the opposition.
Yeah, I do agree that you have to play this shot when it's here. That you might, if you don't move this now, the Marshall have another one round there. You never get the chance to play this red. So by playing this, you can bring that red at the top of the house into play.
So I think maybe just slightly thinner than half stone.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be a slow moving stone, is it? This is going to come with a bit of heat. Straight on it though.
It's on his way and they're pushing it hard. Has he made it? He's past the guard.
It's good.
Oh, he's perfect.
Oh, he's
under it. Underneath it.
Oh, it leaves the double back as well. Or do you just go for the one in the... Oh, you've got to look at the double here, do you not?
Surely, but if you trace after that shot and you ever catch that guard high, you're looking at losing 3 again.
You go for the double even, just take the 1 off it.
Yeah, and then you can only lose the max one with 2.
I think they've just been a wee bit quick to go for the shot stone. But...
Well, if they make it, it's the right shot, David.
Yeah, exactly.
One up with hammer going up the last is. They would have took that before the game anyway, and I really feel that sometimes you just play the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's almost a free slash at the double, isn't it? Have a go. If you lift 1, you lift 1. If you lift 2, then happy days.
Well, he does sit second shot, however, and that's probably what's forcing him making
yeah,
the
true,
decision.
true.
by 2 now, so...
Is there a double there?
Well, I think we'll be taking the chance.
It's got to have a go now. Really, I must make the shot. This really has. I don't. You get the impression of one probably isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, if they miss this and give the steal up 4 down, I really think the game's over.
Is this pulling hard?
Well, see now team are going to play on, and why not? Each time with nothing else, but I feel this game could have just slipped away from them now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to come back on that, isn't it? It's you would think that's pretty much game, set, match to the Marshall rink.
Yeah, but if there's a team here that I could bet on a 4 up the last, it would be this team. So
yeah, true.
I'll watch this space.
So do you stick your first stone top 4, or do you launch it through the house here?
I think I'll go through the house.
Surely. And then try a tech shot.
Last thing you want to do is go top 4, come up short, and even back tee, just give them, really want to give them nothing to let this.
Yeah, I think it has to be. It has to be a launch and then an attempted tick or something like that, just to see what you can do. At the end of the day, they can afford 3 misses in this end, so when you can throw your first one through, that's you can afford 3 out of 7 after that. So. I'm thinking about starting this end at some stage, I think. It's a kind of summary of the latest scores. Obviously we know the Bryce game is actually finished, and this game's sitting at 5-1, but all the other games were sitting at Peel. Not quite sure how they are standing now, but that's where they were sitting.
Good day to resume now. I think the Marshall skip went to wall. The excitement's obviously just too much for him there, but
taking a minute. Yeah, umpire's on though. Must be on for something else. Another game must be finished. It must be doing the draw shot, I think. I really hope they're launching this through.
Well, it looks like he's giving ice for top 4, and I can see him sliding out there, and he's putting it in the house. So
controversial. I have to admit, if I'm Bruce Mount, I'm delighted to see him do that.
Oh yeah, because you want stones in play that you can always punch that back later on in the end, move it back to you and use it, or there's a chance you can jam guards in it when you're trying to clear guards. The way it is not perfect. You really want them top 4. Where that is, you can still come round that and lie shot back 8 later on in the end.
You do. If you're going to call that, you really need to be. Oh.
Apologies.
They've obviously shaken. Oh, well, in which case you probably better not to throw that through.
So we got that completely wrong. There didn't seem to be much etiquette with shaking hands, but that's the draw shot challenge.
Yeah,
so that's Marshall defeated Bruce Mount there.
Yeah, it's a good win for them. So I think we'll call it quits for tonight on that slightly less successful note. Thank you very much, David, for doing that game.
Thanks, David.
And we'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Cheerio.